Welcome to our second webcast for Digital Raven. My name is Keith.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we'll be talking about guns and gun safety.
One of the things we did fail to address in our last webcast was that these are props, and unless you handle props correctly, you can get into a bit of trouble. Keith is one of our other gun wranglers, along with myself, and he's a police officer. So Keith, what are some important things to know when you are using props, specifically weapons?
Number one, when you're going to be going on set, you need to let whatever jurisdiction you're going to be in know that you're going to be there. You call the police department, the sheriff's department, whoever it is, you let them know. We're filming a movie, we're going to be using prop guns. Because it never fails. Somebody's going to call and say, hey, we saw a whole bunch of guys with guns doing this, that, and the other. And then the police are coming. And that can be a huge problem for the police and for you during your movie shoot.
One of the things definitely to remember as well is, especially if you're going to be, as we are, filming inside or filming in any sort of controlled environment, anyone who is not on set or around set that is going to be waving anything around recklessly definitely draws attention. Letting the people around the area, is that a good idea? Like if you have neighbors or anything, is that?
It's nice to do, but again, I think the primary thing is letting the police know. Because almost every time we shoot, we have the police show up in some manner, and you got to deal with it. And if you have a bunch of people standing around with prop guns, there's always the possibility that somebody's going to get excited and something bad can happen.
The other thing to remember is these are airsoft guns. Pretty much everything we have on us, from these pistols to these rifles that we're both holding to all the guns that are behind us. Now, because they're airsoft guns, there is a pellet that can be in it. And if it's primed and ready to go, it can fire. They do hurt. It is an action sport. It is something that you might be a fan of, or you and a friend might be a fan of. But if you have professional actors or anyone who's not used to it, or even the film crew that's not expecting it, it's not necessarily the right thing to do. Keep these unloaded, keep batteries disconnected, make sure that they're as safe as possible. Now, if you do need to get the trigger moving, these are all completely unloaded. They're not charged. They're pretty much ready to go. Now, on top of that, as these are airsoft weapons, we did have to do a little bit of modification.
Typically, airsoft guns come with an orange tip. For realism, they have to be painted over. That's just part of the deal. That's just how it goes.
Now, what we chose to do, and this goes back to how some of these weapons were, was we chose to do 2 coats. Some of these weapons, a good example would be this one, actually started life clear. This entire gun was clear. What we did was we basically hit it with a coat of silver paint. That way, if it does scratch, as you can already see has happened on the clip there, on that side as well as that side, it's not going to go back to showing that kind of clear police safe color that a lot of sports stores will carry. Now, we did decide to go with sports store weapons instead of e-bikes or air splat or KWC or any of the Tokyo Maru weapons, because basically if this drops, we don't care. I mean, even if we're just goofing around, we're actors, we don't know how much production has gone in or how much value this has. If I'm going to be like, this gets scratched, it gets broken, it no longer functions, I don't care. It's not a tournament weapon.
And as your mom always said, you can put your eye out with that. Same goes with these.
Now, because we are doing I guess we haven't really talked about it yet. We are doing a zombie film, zombie action film. We touched a little bit on the technology we wanted to use last webcast, but we didn't really talk about the film. We got a map behind us, and we have some other props. This is actually a real machete, and it will be used as a costume piece, which means we don't anticipate or even want anybody to pull it out and brandish it. However, we have taken steps.
Yeah, there should be no swinging this around at any actors or any or anything that's in the environment out there. It looks real and it's supposed to, but again, you don't need to be swinging it around because somebody's gonna get hurt, guaranteed.
Right. It's also because there is the potential of somebody drawing it and being a little stupid. It's completely ground down and unsharpened. Now, if we are going to hit somebody with something, we move to basically a different type of prop. This is just a blank that's been created out of wood, and if we were going to actually use it in a movie, we would probably replace it with foam latex or some sort of foam. But it already gives you the idea. It weighs a lot less. It's only made to look like a machete, and if Keith is a zombie and he is coming at me, I can kind of come into him, and it's not going to hurt him because there is nothing blade-like about it. Except, just a little bit of set dressing. That's pretty much it. Please keep walking. Bleh. Please keep watching. Excuse me, my tongue left there for a second. And we'll continue with our webcasts as we get closer and closer to releasing a trailer and later a movie. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.